Hello, educators, and anyone who decides to watch. I just want to thank you for tuning in. I am again excited about us being here, you know, for another episode of Empowered Educators with Ronnette Branham. Looking for my mouse here. Okay, it's right here. Um, so I hope everybody's having a great day. I just it's exciting, to know that, we are here. It really is exciting to know that I'm looking for my mouse. It's just moving around here. So again, I just want to thank you and for joining. And we are here to offer strategies for effective teaching. There's a lot of things happening in the education system, and we want to know that today, like I said earlier today is a great day to be happy. Today is an awesome day to be happy. And so let's just think about that and be happy and excited about us, coming together and joining in and thinking about today. What is today? So the reason I came up with that topic, that is, today is a great day to be happy, even though we're talking about workload, time management, and strategies for success. That was where I was going because, like I said, I did a little clip, and it was talking about I did two, I think, where I was talking about, burnout. To, Today marks 13 days of school. There's no way you could be burned out at 13, 10, 9 days of school. There's something happening in our mindset that makes us think we are burned out. We are burned out. You're not really burned out. You're just maybe going through a little stress, little difficulties. And the reason it seems like burnout is because you're tired. We're exhausted. And we're exhausted. Like, what is happening here? Because, just for instance, talk about it all the time. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I have two classes. That's not normal for a general ed teacher. It's not normal for a second grade teacher to have two whole classes with 26 people in the class. That's not normal. So, because we don't have enough bilingual teachers, they decided, because the government, they will get in on your stuff if you're not doing right by the students that you have. You have to teach them in their language, because otherwise they'll be lost, right? So there's no more like when I was a kid, they just put you in a class and you just had to learn English. It's not that anymore. So because we have so many Spanish speaking students, we don't have enough bilingual teachers. So they decided this teacher gets two classes. And how can they do that unless they have an English speaking teacher counterpart, to swap them out with every day, because they have to see their teacher every day. So I have that. And then we're testing this time of the year. We're testing to see what their reading level is, their math level is, their math proficiency. So having that many students in testing, and then the technology is acting up. So I was feeling that. How do I work with this time? How do I work, use time management to make this better? You know, some people are doing it so smoothly. And I'm like, how are you doing that? What is happening here? So I can get it. I just needed everything that I needed. And then everything that I needed wasn't there. So then I was feeling myself struggling and stressing. It didn't make sense. Today is the 13th day of school. That's nothing compared to 180 days. That's how many more days? 67 more days? I mean, 167 more days. So how could you be stressed? How could you be stressed? How could you be burned out? You could be stressed. How could you be burned out? You can't be. Something's happening. So I had to figure it out. And then I decided, okay, not only I'm going to make this episode about that time management, we're working, making sure we have everything we need, that we're planning during our planning period to make sure the next day. So you really have to plan for the next day. You can't plan for today, because what if you don't have what you need if you're planning for today? So my planning period is 11:15. So, you have to use that time for some things. So I need a plan for the next day in order to make it work. Make sure I have everything I need. I had a master teacher once, and she said you have to plan for the whole week. You put in little baggies, everything you need for the whole week. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it because I wasn't that. But I find out I need to do that. We need to plan for real, because otherwise we're running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to figure out what to do. That's not so cool. Like, it's just not. So we need to make this work and be good with it. On top of time management, we need to have a plan in place for being happy during the day. You really, that's crazy. You have to plan to be happy. And that's what we have to do. We have to plan to be happy. We just can't let life happen to us and then we're feeling the bumps and the bruises, without taking the time to see what is happening with us, what is happening during that day, what's good, because it has to be some good in the day or we won't make it. You know what I mean? We won't make it if there's no good in the day. So we have to look at that. And then, we have to have a positive attitude through it all. I looked at a poster that I have on my wall in my classroom. I hung it. I don't know if I hung it today or yesterday, but I hung it up. I had to hang it up somewhere yesterday. I mean, last school year. But during this, it says, when everything is going left, you go right. Sometimes it feels like everything is going to the left. So you go right if everything is that's happening. And then another thing I said that it says, love the life you live the life you love. So just say you don't love the life that you're living. How about you create a life that you love living? Create it, because you are the author. You are the manager of your life. So we have to be happy in what we're in our life, because we can't walk around stressed and burn out. And we love to use that word burnout. What are solutions for burnout? Burnout, we already know solutions for burnout is to love what you're doing, to find the joy in what you're doing. So if you don't have the joy in what you're doing, yeah, you're going to feel burnt out. You're going to feel stressed out. I know today, this week, last week, I've been exhausted and it doesn't make sense. So I still have to go in and be happy and find the joy in what it is that I'm doing. So that's some things. I don't know if you have something that you do to find joy in what you do to make your life better, especially in our careers, our classrooms. We have to reframe our challenges as opportunities. So opportunities to learn, opportunities to learn more, opportunities for growth. So today I had issues with internet. I needed to test some students. The internet was down. I mean, the internet, maybe in building, other people that had the problem, but it was in and out in my classroom. And I talked to the technology teacher. He said it's sporadic today and yesterday. So I had to figure out what to do. Okay, so you right here, you're going to read a book. This group of kids, I have 6 computers that they needed to read a book. They just had to. And then other people, you read a book until you see this check mark. Once you see this check mark that the internet is up, then you're going to go in here and finish your test. And then I had to test other students on their reading, with the DRA. So I had to call them one by one, and I needed quiet. So I had to plan what the students were going to do in order to make it run smoothly, because you can't wait till the last minute. Some things, the internet made it last minute. Some things are out of your control. But that planning part of it, what are your students going to do while you're testing each student on their reading? You have to have something for them to do. Otherwise, it's going to be chaos in your classroom. So I don't know if I said that before, but find that good and what you can do, because what is going to happen is you're going to find out that you're more resilient than you think you are. You are a skilled professional and you got this, you have this, and you can make this thing work. So I don't know what you do to make it work, but I sit down and try to take my time and figure it out. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I have to step back a little bit and then take a break and say, oh, this is what we're going to do. This is why we're going to do this class. I know I have to test, but right now it's not working. So because it's not working, we all have to stop what we're doing, or we stop in groups and then figure it out. This group is going to do this. We just have to plan. And then we have to have that empowering mindset, that mindset that empowers us, that we are great educators, that we are, resilient. I know I just said that, but there's something else. I have the power to change this. It's nobody is in charge of my life except for me. Nobody's in charge of my mind, the way I think, except for me. So if you give me these directives, the teachers, the administrators, the school district, we have testing for math, testing for literacy, plus our 2 kinds of testing for literacy, right? So how am I going to make this work? What am I going to do? How am I going to feel empowered? I have the power to plan my schedule. I have the power to say, this is what I'm going to do today. This is how much I'm going to do today. So that is something that we need to focus on and, have that mindset. You have the ability to shape your environment. Not everything comes from our district. Our environment is our classroom. How does it make you feel? How is it going to make the students feel? You have the power to create, the environment in your classroom that you want for you and your students. Solutions start small. Start with small intentional acts. Like the first hour, we're going to work on finance. I'm going to teach them how to write their letters correctly on the lines, using the dotted lines, using whatever it is to make them write correctly. They're not going to have a capital letter the same size as the lowercase. We're going to work on this the first 40 minutes, right? And then that's going to give me time to decompress. And while I'm doing something that comes naturally or something that I mastered, I could be thinking at the same time because I've already mastered this. I know how to work in phonics with these students. So while they're doing that, I'm thinking of the next thing. What are we going to do next? How am I going to maneuver this in the classroom? So, start with small intentions, intentionally, small actions. And don't forget, I know we keep talking about that self-care. Don't forget about that self-care. Self-care is planning. Because otherwise you're going to be stressed out and you're going to be talking about you're tired. I did that today. Talked to my principal and my vice principal, and I was telling him I'm exhausted. He's like, oh, stop it. No, really, because I was doing too much. Instead of taking my time and planning like I have to do right now, plan what am I going to do tomorrow, step by step. That way it will be easier because I know what I'm going to do. But if I'm just winging it, getting to the classroom and waiting, oh, yeah, I have to do that. Oh, yes, I have to do this. Oh, what about this? Then I have the habit of printing everything more than once. Print something, I mess it up, then I print it again. Or I print it more than once, so I'll have it. And then I have too many papers. I didn't hang it up, or I hung up one thing, and then it's way across the classroom. I have too many stacks of paper. So I start throwing things away today. Like I said, it's only been 13 days of school and I'm packing it on in the classroom. Well, I have too much stuff. So, and then, we have to celebrate our achievements because I tested everybody in my first class in the DRA and to see their reading level. Everybody except for one person. That is awesome. Few people I can't put in because they're just not in the system yet. But I tested them. Still, I know their reading level. Now I started on the next class this afternoon. So that is something that I call a success. I call that an achievement because I got that out the way. Now, tomorrow I have to worry about that. Now I have to go and check and see who needs to be tested all together on their ELA and math. See, so I'm going to go in tonight, see who needs to be tested. Then I'll have their names ready to go tomorrow. They didn't finish either. So that is self-care because otherwise tomorrow I'll be stressing about what's happening. Am I on time? Do I have everything I need? I know we have to be finished this testing by the 27th. I don't even know. Today's the 24th. That's 3 more days. We have to be finished. Okay. So to be less stress on me, I plan it out. Everything is coming to planning it out. Time management. Say, I'm going to spend an hour on this. I'm going to spend an hour on that. Okay, 40 minutes on this, 40 minutes on that, 20 minutes. Okay, the first 5 minutes, I'm going to make sure they have all their computers together. Tomorrow, I'll go to to the brick screen and show them step by step so they can do it instead of lining up for me to do it. Self-care. Self-care. That's stressful. Logging in every student. That's stressful. That's tiring. You're like, wait a minute, can you sit down? I'll call you. All that kind of stuff. Self-care. We talk about burnout. We're burning ourselves out because we're not doing the right thing. We are not planning. You have to plan. Then you have to use. We always talking about AI. Everything is AI. Your computer is AI. We hate AI. Your computer is AI. Period. Your car is AI. Period. Because it's not working. You're not manually driving your car. You're not manually entering things in the computer. Everything is AI. We have to use the internet and AI to our advantage. Use Google Classroom, shoot every assignment out at the same time, right? Use Class Dojo, shoot a message to all the parents at the same time. I call all of this self-care and it's working for time management. It's working for planning. There's some time management tools. I saw something called Simple Paper Planner. I just read that. And that's so wrong. I saw something called Asana or something like that. Simple Paper Planner is that's so funny. It's what we do when we write it all out. You could do that. Somebody gave me one. I'm not that person. So just use, time management. Even take courses of time management. Find out things online with how educators, use time management, make it work for them. So I encourage you to, share your own time management skills. That's what I'm looking for. Let us know what kind of time management skills you use. Also, let me see. I had something else for us. Wait. I'm going back. So remember, you have to prioritize when you're working on time management strategies. Prioritize what has to be done first, what has to be done second. Is there something that could wait? You have to get this information into. So I'm doing the DRAs and it's taking so long, and then the internet is going down. Then I have internet to do the DRAs. Some people are doing it on paper. I'm not doing it on paper. I can't do it like that because you have to keep printing. You might have the wrong paper for the child. They might be lower or they might be higher. So all these printed pages that you don't know what to do with. So prioritize. So this is what I did. I went straight to the testing and then I put it in where it needed to go into our Lincoln files. And then collaborate with other teachers. Ask them what they do. Ask the other teachers how do they, how do the other teachers, how do they organize their time? How are they maneuvering through the same things that you have to go through? Ask other teachers, collaborate. Say, if you do this, can I do that? Or go online and find things. My favorite is find out what it is I need to do, right? What it is I need to do. And while I find out what I need to do, okay, this is what the objective. My objective is to test all these students. How am I going to go through that? So start, we call that the backwards design. So start from the back when the planning process. This is where I want to end up. So how can I do that? What do I need to do? What is the outcome of this planning? Work backwards. Okay. I need to test all these students today. So how am I going to achieve that? So let's start with the lower level reading students and knock them out the box. That's going to be quick. And then you take the time or in the middle of those, plan for the higher level readers in the middle somewhere so that it will break it up a little bit or sprinkle them through. By now we know a little bit about how they read. So also that, and then use like rubrics of what it is that you want to do. I'm still looking for my mouse. I keep looking for my mouse. So use rubrics, so what is that you're testing for? Make it work. Say, I'm looking for this, this, and this. So you won't be all over the place. I'm seeing if they could read in English. I'm looking to see if they know basic sight words. I'm seeing really quickly if they can read a paragraph, if it's fluent, all that stuff. Check that out. Look for that, and then you'll have answers to a lot of things at the same time instead of going one by one, and then you get to the end of it. Oh, no, they're not fluent. Oh, they don't know English. Oh, they don't know this. So, use a rubric for the things that you're actually looking for. That way you won't be all over the place. That's what I think. Then you won't be overwhelmed if you plan and use a rubric. Rubric's for everything. Watch when you're being evaluated, for your teaching, and then the administrator comes in. You already know the rubric of what they're looking for. So plan everything around that. That way, when you get ready to go for your post-op observation meeting, you say, well, this is what you should have been looking for. I did this. And so you plan backwards, the backwards design. This is what you want. So now my lesson plans, my whole lesson is going to be geared toward this. That way I won't miss anything. So I used to do that. And then I let the class overwhelm me. But again, that is called, I don't care how we want to put it, it's self-care. All that is self-care. You don't want to plan before a week in advance. You don't want to plan 2 days in advance. That's self-care, and you won't be stressed out like I have been the last few days because I needed to make copies. I needed to do a whole lot of things for that day, and it didn't work for me. So that, to avoid it, don't pile up. Let things pile up. Watch what you let pile up, that kind of stuff. And also, let me see. We just talking about less stress, decreasing the stress to make us be able to see that today is a great day to be happy. I got to go back to that because I almost, it was about, really about, our workload and time management. But that all goes back to self-care and that today is a great day to be happy. Don't stress over this little stuff. Don't stress over this big stuff. Don't stress because guess what? If it's a problem, it's solvable. If it's not solvable, then it's just a situation that you're in and you have to work through it. Period. Problem is I have to test all these students. What do I have to do? How can I solve that problem? Test all the students. Get it out the way. Knock it out the box. Focus on it. Keep my mind on this is what I have to do. Right? And then if it's something that I can't do anything about, like I cannot get out of testing my students. Can't solve that problem except to test my students, right? Think about that. Make that work. Say, okay, the situation, I have to trudge through it. Period. I might not like testing. I'm ready to teach. I love teaching. I hate testing because I don't even want to get into that. I can. Why not? I hate testing because of the fact that the students don't read on grade level. So a lot of the testing, unless it's just the testing that I'm seeing, assessing their reading level, it doesn't work because they can't read it. So they're just guessing, right? So that is why I really don't like testing. And it takes so much time. I love teaching because I know the students are learning. So to some things, like I said, you have to just trudge through it. And then some things you have to solve the problem, whatever the problem is. If it is a problem, it's solvable, period. Find the solution, time-saving tools, right? The best way, the best practices. How are you going to work through it? Write things down and remember, this is how I did it last year. How come it was so easy last year and not this year? Maybe you didn't have the same class dynamic, but why was it easier? Is it easier this year than it was last year? Take note of that. Let somebody know when you find something that works. Let somebody know, let them know. Let somebody else know. because guess what? Your mental health is the most important. So you have to find and then ask teachers, how are they dealing with these things? You know, what are they doing? Other teachers can always help. Then class class management is something that will help you decompress if you have great class management skills. Today, mine didn't seem I had to get my microphone today, talk a little bit louder with it because the students didn't get it. And it was because my classroom management, because I didn't have everything that I needed, because I it was technological, really. So I didn't have everything I needed. Things weren't working. So I had to have the kids wait and things like that. So it didn't really work. But if everything was in order, in line, I would not have had a problem. If everybody had something to do at every second, it would have been better. So we have to work on that classroom management, larger class sizes. That's what we have. I have 26 students in each class, 25 in one, 26 in the other. Disruptive behavior. You have to nip that in the bud by giving them work to do. Managing different students' needs. What does this child need? What does that child need? Everybody needs something different. Some people can need the same thing. A group of kids, children, can need the same thing. And then these over here need something different. So, we have to work on that, work on that positive behavior support, restorative practices, making sure everything is going along to our liking. I say to our liking because who else needs to like it? The students, but you know what I mean. Read books, go to webinars, programs on classroom management, take training, share your classroom management challenges and strategies with other people. What do you do? It's easy to grab their attention, but when you grab their attention, then what? Make sure you have something for them to do, students to do. Make sure you're working. This testing period right now is really tough. So we have to be strategic about our time, strategic about how we're managing the classroom, because otherwise it just will be, I don't know. I found the students today gave me what they could do since they couldn't test. I couldn't log them in or whatever. They said, well, can we read Epic? Okay, we have Epic. Okay, go ahead and read Epic. Sit on the rug over there. You sit at that table. You sit over there. Read Epic while I test these students. It worked. It absolutely worked. Maybe not for every student, but it worked for the class. And I really appreciate that we have things online or on our, apps on their iPads that they can use. Remember to be reflective. I don't every day or after every period. Did this work? How did this work for you? Did it work out for you? No, you forgot some things. How come you didn't use this strategy? Did you use that strategy over here? So be reflective. And then remember, always after you're being reflective and you find out what works, discuss it with other people. Somebody else may have a better strategy than you, or they may need the strategy that you have, because teachers are working in isolation. So, we need to have strategies at the ready, right here, ready for us. So again, be reflective, work on those time management skills. If you have some strategies that work for you, let us know, let somebody else know. And also, I have a community inside of Facebook that I'm excited about. So if you want to join me, educators, and you're on Facebook, go to Facebook and go to Empowered Educators with Ronnette Branham. Look for that group, and I am there. And we are trying to build that group up to have a group of educators talking about strategies, offering strategies, getting strategies, giving strategies, wisdom and insight on how it is to teach. So again, go to Facebook, Empowered Educators with Ronnette Branham, and I come in time to time. I want to go live again. I really plan to go live once a week, and every other day maybe send a clip. So that works. I sent something today. So I appreciate you for tuning in. Again, this is Ronnette Branham with Empowered Educators. Empowered Educators with Ronnette Branham. That's the site. Also on Facebook. That's the group on Facebook. So remember that self-care. Everything we do is self-care if we plan it. If we plan it right. Everything we do is self-care. Planning our lessons, self-care. You won't be stressed out because you're trying to wing it. Planning our time. You won't be stressed out because you're getting overwhelmed, right? Making sure the students have what they need. That's all self-care. That's all self-care. We make it sound, because you can't be an awesome, extraordinary teacher without self-care, without planning, without strategizing, without collaborating. It's impossible to be an extraordinary teacher on your own, just working through it. Again, I said that to say today is a great day to be happy. If everything seems to be going left, you go right. Live the life you love. Love the life you live. If you don't love the life you live, create a life that you love living. Today's a good day to be happy. I love that. I want to leave you with that. Thank you again. I am Ronnette Branham, the hostess with the mostest. Remember, find me on Empowered Education with Ronnette Branham, Empowered Educators with Ronnette Branham on Facebook. I am Ronnette Branham every place else, and I'll see you next week. Thank you and have a great day. If I can find my mouse. I didn't ask. If you had any questions, I would appreciate it. But I'm good. I'm trying to log out. I can't find my mouse at all. Okay, there it is. Thank you. Have a great day.